generation of City Skylines creators is here.
Cities by Steven.
Joy Build Cities.
Xuca Boa.
Raid Kitty.
Valley Lad Gaming.
Grattles.
They're bringing you the collaboration known as
Skyline6.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to curve it out a little bit first.
We made it to Tiny Town. This is so exciting.
Changing the segment here will give us safety rails over the cliff.
You don't want the little kids walking too far, because they're little.
My goal is for this central space here to be more of a community space.
These will be specifically for the Lemonade Factory.
Bring this one down. Oh, that's too perfect.
I gotta get that coal to the power plant before it's too late.
I'm gonna say these were the first people that had ever lived in Morato.
The functional use of open space for cities is actually really important.
Name it raids, a big mistake.
New episodes premiere every Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. Hit the bell.
Okay, I think we are live. Let us know, everybody. Can you hear us in the chat? Let us know.
All right, a group of builders coming together to create one city. Welcome to the epic conclusion of the Skyline6 City Skylines collaboration. My name is Flyvox. I am your host for tonight. However, I am not alone. With me are some of the amazing creators that are responsible for this outstanding collaboration. First of all, the channel you're watching right now, we have Joy Build Cities.
Hello.
I also want to give a very warm welcome to Raid Kitty. Up next, we also have the one and only Xuca Boa.
Hey there, everybody.
And last but definitely not least, howdy to Cities by Steven.
Hello, everyone.
So as all you gorgeous people out there see some amazing cinematics of this beautiful build, I have the honor to talk a bit with these lovely creators about this project. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge some very fine names I see in the chat. We have Captain Obvious, Cityzilla, we have the Map Maker, Governor in the chat, and also Grattles. But now, it is time to jump right into the questions. Let's go. So I got a question for all of you. Skyline6, the name. It sounds like a group of superheroes. How did you come up with this amazing name?
That's a good question. I'll take that one, Flyvox. Hey everyone, I'm reading your comments in the chat just so you know. So keep asking questions. But what I'm gonna say about how we came up with Skyline6 as a name, the group of us started this project a few months before we ever put out our first video. And so during that time, we were like planning the whole collaboration, right? I'm not talking about planning the city itself, but the actual project of collaborating. And we had to come up with a name, like what are we going to call it? And how would we have a Discord called City of Friends? And basically every little detail that went into this. So for naming it, we just had a brainstorming session, and we started to throw out as many cool sounding names as we could think of, like on this list. And Skyline6 was one of those names, and we all thought it sounded kind of like some kind of superhero squad of city builders or something like that. So when we voted, that was the winner. That's how we came up with the name.
It does sound truly amazing. Not gonna lie, it instantly reminded me of a group of superheroes. Very, very cool. So how did the Skyline6 team end up using the map Morato by Governor?
So I'll take that question. So the Governor, who's here in the chat, guys, make sure go subscribe to her channel. She is now doing map reviews, which is so awesome. But Karina, this was the first map that she ever built, and she was so kind to build it for our collaboration. We were so excited to have this custom map, and it was really fun because we wanted her to be able to build whatever she wanted to build and use her amazing creativity. And we just gave her some like really loose things that we wanted to see. And then she came back with this absolutely beautiful map. So we were definitely spoiled.
Yeah, the map looks really, really nice. What I also noticed when watching some footage, the map you built is quite full. Another question: is there anything that you feel is missing that you wish that could have been added to the map?
Well, so apparently, A, when I said hello, no one could hear me. So B, I'll take this question.
I
The
hear you
map,
now, Raid. I hear you now.
beautiful, beautiful. Remember during practice too, the hello was just not working. So yeah, the map is super full, and we all worked together, including all of the guest builders, to really make a city that felt alive. And one of the things that happened during these 9 months that we built was a significant amount of DLCs was released. And
yeah.
the final set of DLCs and content creator packs was the sports fields and the malls and Africa in miniature. So I feel like a lot of those are missing, but from a sports lover standpoint and a community building standpoint, I really think that sports fields are missing from this map. I think that we could have had a lot more parks for Little League and soccer players and community events. So I think if we were to go back and make any changes, I would definitely add the new sports fields DLC and get that going in this map.
That's fair. Yeah, that does sound like like a good plan. In the grand scheme of things for this city, was there an actual master plan? Like, was it difficult planning episodes in advance, not knowing what state the city would be in once you got the save back?
No grand plan, actually. It grew naturally as we all saw fit. Sometimes the demands of the city would steer one of us towards a certain direction or something. But sometimes we would go into our turns with pre-planned ideas, but no grand plan. We also shared some screenshots of our builds with each other during the process, so we all knew what was going on in the city by the time we got the save back. But it was tricky because if, say, you wanted to do an industry build, but there was no industry demand, you need to change gears pretty quick to get that demand back. So sometimes getting the save was kind of like a fun mystery city box.
Oh yeah, 100%. I understand that. I've been a guest in a collaboration, City Skylines collaboration as well, and I 100% know what you mean. Yeah, it's like a mystery box. That's pretty good analogy. Yeah. I got another question for the group. How did the transit play into the series? Were there challenges in mass transit?
I'll take that one, and I'm gonna say yeah. We're playing a 25 tile map here. It's a great map by Governor, but there's this big mountain in front of it. There's a bay around it, so getting people around the whole area is critical, especially as the city develops over such a large area over such a long time. And it was really challenging when you have these different builders. Like every one of us is doing something together, but then in our own little way. So when you have these different builders bringing the city in different directions, you think it's going to go one way, then it goes another. And so every episode was kind of like this puzzle for how someone could integrate their project into the city as a whole and like make it connected. But I think we pulled it off. I think pretty well. The city's very connected. It's everywhere. You can get to everywhere from everywhere across this 25 tile map. So I think we did all right despite the challenge.
I think it's you guys did more than all right. It's really amazing.
I'll take more than all right, sure.
It's really cool. So we did hear about various DLCs and our content creator packs launching throughout the this collaboration happening. What was the biggest challenge with Skyline6 premiering over the period of time where multiple of those DLCs and content creator packs launched?
I'll take this one. Actually, I think it was a benefit to have a vanilla build because it didn't slow down our progress with the multiplayer. So it was really great that we knew at a bare minimum we could keep up with the content here because it was vanilla. So I think it was actually a benefit to have this project going. And then to be able to incorporate all the new things. And I think it just made it that much more fun when we could jump in and incorporate new things as they came along. So I think it made things better versus a challenge, so for sure.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, taking it in stride, right? So I think that's really nice how you implemented all the new features that dropped over the period of time, and amazing work. Yeah, 100%. I have a question for specifically Raid Kitty.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's your time now.
My time to shine.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that you made the epic trailer for the map that was the official first video from the Skyline6. What was that experience like?
So, first off, I linked the video in the chat. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But the experience was amazing. I got to work with Joy and Graddles and Karina, our governor, to really figure out what we wanted to showcase. And I think just being able to showcase another map maker's map first and foremost was what I was going for. Of how can I create something that she can use for her Steam Workshop page. And I think it turned out really great. And then the second part was the music. We tended to go with more lighthearted music, and I wanted something that really just like punched you, but wasn't like too loud. And so just overall, just getting footage and being able to play and find all the Easter eggs that Governor hid around the map was, I think, the most fun part of making the official trailer.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. That sounds really, really good. I got another question, a follow-up question, if you will, Raid, for you. The videos, the intros to your videos are also outstanding. How did you come up with your great intro sequences? Like, I feel they're like, they have a very organic flow, but yet they feel like very futuristic.
So, thank you. I'm sitting here blushing. So... Some of it I actually took inspiration from Xuca. Xuca Boa has some pretty bomb intros with the music and the harsh blacks and whites and all of that stuff. So I took some inspiration that it's okay to try new things, and even ideas that are silly. Part of, and not to get too into detail of creator mindset, but part of the creator mindset is how can we get people engaged quickly? And for me, it was kind of the silly intros that showed things around the city. And one of my favorites was the X-Files intro. So long story short, all praise Shukaboa and his intros. And also thank you, X-Files, for some very inspiring music.
I can agree to all of that. Yeah, I also like Jukubo. I like your intros as well. And X-Files, I used to watch a lot of that show, like way back in the day. I'm not going to say how long ago, but yeah, I also like the X-Files, 100%.
I think what had happened with that X-Files intro is I had just started watching X-Files. I believe it was either on Hulu or Amazon Prime. I'd started rewatching it again. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this.
I mean, hey, that's perfect, right? When you get struck with the inspiration like that, I think that's really amazing. So next question, Joy, for you actually. And in your, it's all good. In your project, you often build very, very close to vanilla. You have like an ultralight mod list.
Yes.
And do you think that actually helped you with an all vanilla? Because this is all vanilla, right? Just with an all vanilla build? Or did you maybe even miss some of those few mods that you usually use?
I didn't miss any mods, actually. Maybe move it here and there, but honestly, I just, there's so much that you can do with vanilla. And so I think especially having someone like Jukaboa along with us, we could always ask him because he is the vanilla master. So I think that's a big benefit too. But yeah, for me, no, I didn't miss anything at all. It was really fun to get in and play vanilla. If anything, it reminded me how much I actually really like just playing vanilla without any mods. So yeah.
And that is 100% understandable. I do agree. I like a good vanilla build in City, so that's actually perfect. I can resonate with that 100%. Zukaboa, question for you.
Okay, hi. I'm blushing
I'm-
right now. All that nice
Is-
stuff. I'm telling everyone in the chat how much I'm blushing about it. Thank you both for saying such nice things about my stuff. That's nice.
Well, you got it when you got to say what's true. So there we are. So Jukubo, I'm aware that you made the trailer for the series itself, and like there's footage of actual building. There's footage of you reaching the milestones. How did that work? Did you guys film ahead of time to get those clips?
Okay, that is a good question. I've heard it asked before. So just so everyone knows, like I said in earlier in this live, that we had been planning this for a while, and part of the planning was before we ever put out a video, all of us had done the first round of recording our videos, and so from those recorded videos that we made, I was able to use footage. I took, I had to be very concise and very quick. And as you know, videos can be quite long. So I really went through each one and found the little bits that I would splice together to make the trailer into this like epic motion picture experience. The Skyline6 is coming to rock your face off sort of thing. And it was so much fun to do it. It was 90 seconds long, the trailer. That's the thing that played in the beginning of this live. But I spent like 2 weeks studying how to make movie trailers and experimenting with different music and clips to match. We're just building a city in City Skylines. There's only so much suspense you can give someone by showing them a built city. But I tried really hard. It was so much fun. And having the footage from everyone that they gave me, it was really cool to see how it worked all together. Arliss, that's me talking right now. I see you in the chat. That's me talking right now. Xuca Boa. Bruh.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. Like, I love the trailer. I love epic suspense. I love movie trailers in general. So I really appreciate, and it's amazing that you actually studied like movie trailers and stuff to try to get this as good looking as
it's a tricky
possible.
video format in its own to make a good trailer, right? It's something different.
100%. I've done one or other trailers in my, I don't know, career in air quotes as an editor. No, as I'm editing. I've been editing my stuff for a few years now, and because I love movie trailers and I love the suspense that they can build up. Like, I mean, you got to be careful. Some movie trailers, they give away too much, so you have to keep that balance going, right? And of course, with cities, as you said, Xucaboa, there's only so much suspense you can show when it comes to City Skylines, the city building simulation. But again, I think you've done an amazing job with this. So that is really cool, and it's amazing that you made the trailer, and you guys agreed to make the trailer, but basically after your first round, so you got all the footage, and that really works out very well in my opinion. Super awesome. So, Cities by Steven. Steven, I got a question for you. You were the first one to build on the map, the round one basically. How did you go about picking where to start building? And did you have some ideas on how you wanted the city to grow from there once you started?
Yeah, good question. So I was the first builder, and fun fact, I was also the last member of the Skyline6 to join up. So a lot of
Oh,
pressure was put on me to get the first episode out, and
Pressure.
yeah, I guess you all graciously allowed me to have the first episode, which was very kind.
We just were throwing you
and I
into the
gotta say,
deep end.
oh really? Like oh yeah, it was good. But I think where we started Kevin's Landing is the original starting tile for the map, but we unlocked the 25 vanilla tiles for it. So I could have built anywhere, but I felt like it was best for the series and to respect the map to start on the starting tile. And out where I wanted to see the city grow from there. How I usually build my cities is I kind of build them up in what I see is kind of like a realistic way, like where cities would actually run up in real life and whatnot. So I feel like the map really kind of spoke to building the city the way we kind of did, and particularly around that bay there and whatnot. So yeah, the map was awesome. The map really told us where we were going to build.
Oh yeah, I can also totally relate to that because yeah, it's like one thing. Once I run out of ideas to build, I really look at the map and I see, okay, what does the map tell me where to build? It sounds kind of silly, I guess, but I 100% agree. It's absolutely correct. The map can tell you what to do next, basically. That's a good tip for everyone out there, by the way. That's how I usually do it. Like if you look at the map and then you'll know, like, okay, we can work with the map. The map shows us the way, basically. So I love that 100%. All right, next question. I have one more for Raid Kitty, actually. And Raid, I'm curious, how would you characterize the growth and the development of the city? Didn't it end up being what you envisioned, or maybe did it turn out completely different?
So first off, I didn't come in with a vision. I mean, I did in some way when you like get building, you're like, oh man, I really hope someone takes this little bait I kind of stuck out there. You know, you kind of leave a road unconnected and that kind of stuff. But I would say no, I didn't have a vision, and it definitely didn't end up what I envisioned. If anything, it ended up just significantly better. I mean, seeing how we all took our styles and connected it, and it all brought together, and it mimics almost a real city. You know, when you build a city, you don't have the same developers coming in and building each neighborhood, and so it turned out amazing. And one of the things that, you know, Grattles and I noticed in between one of our turns, I don't remember, it might have been round 2, is our population growth was actually really small. I think we were only at like 15 or 18,000 at that point going into I believe round 3. And so her and I decided between the two of us that we were really going to pump up some of the population, because as builders, we were starting to put in the unique buildings, and we were starting to put in more of the expensive rails and transit lines, and we didn't have the tax income. So that was one of the kind of the development drawbacks that we had, was nobody really wanted to put in a ton of population and take up a large amount of space, because you're removing space from other builders. And I think we were all so respectful that the city started out really slow, and as soon as that population boomed, the city boomed with it.
Very nice. Yeah, that's really cool, actually. I got another question. I got another question for Steven. And Steven, I'd like to know, like, I noticed that you use a good amount of mods in the builds on your channel, actually. Were you excited or maybe worried about playing vanilla, or maybe a bit of both?
Oh gosh, I think a bit of both, but I was very nervous to do it. I started playing the game on console, so I knew how to play the game vanilla. But when I started playing on PC, I jumped right away into modded gameplay. So I gotta say, I kept on like going for picker or move it or a network multi-tool, trying to during my builds. And yeah, it was really tricky to get used to building vanilla again. But I definitely have a newfound respect for vanilla after building it on the PC here. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm definitely thinking about doing some vanilla stuff in the future as well, because I really enjoyed it.
That's nice. I can once again can resonate 100% because I'm also a longtime PS4 City Skylines player before I made the switch to PC, and like even like
over here.
I've been playing with mods for like 3 years now, and it's still, for me, I'm sometimes still in my vanilla mindset. Like for me, it's really hard to shake off the vanilla and like, oh, I have mods. I can just, move something, or I can just copy a patch of trees and place them somewhere else. And so it's also very not difficult, but I'm still in some parts, I'm still in that vanilla mindset, and I sometimes forget that I can use mods, even if I have them on and everything. So,
yeah, I mean,
it
became clear that I became way too reliant on them starting the series out, because I like even just building elevated portions of roads and bridges, it's just so different, and I never thought it would be, but yeah, I can totally relate.
All right. Xuca, question
right,
for you,
hey.
my friend. Yes, here we go. So you left for over 2 rounds and came back to a city that grew by nearly 80,000 population, expanded to cover almost all 25 tiles. What was the biggest surprise within the map when you returned from sea?
Oh man, that's a good question because I was gone for like 6 months almost.
Yeah, because of
And
your job, right? Just to clarify, maybe there's someone that doesn't
yeah,
know.
so if anyone doesn't know, I work on ships. That's why I like to build waterfronts in my cities more than anything else. But I was Oh, hold on. Let me turn up the energy for Arliss and the chat. He was telling me I was not as high energy as I should be. So I was working on a ship, and I was out at sea, and I couldn't play City Skylines, and I went crazy. But it was wild to come back because when I did, everything was there. Like the whole map was almost filled. It was this 25 tiles.
God.
When I left, it was in. I only did the first 2 rounds, so I didn't even get through rounds 3 and 4. And in those 2 rounds, I didn't expect 25 tiles to get filled up. And I'm used to playing. I have my one vanilla city that I've been doing for 2 years now. It's 9 tiles. So when I got to this map and I saw so much of the 25 tiles taken up, like my sense of scale was just blown away, right? It was so much bigger than I imagined it would be because I've never in my life filled up 25 tiles in any of my cities. So I don't want to say like any one thing surprised me. It didn't grow the way I expected, but I was very happy to see what everyone did and try to figure out a way to sneak in for this very last round, this last episode that went out last week.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. And Jukapo, while I have you,
Sure.
I heard that your episode "Ship It Like a Pro" was inspired by your real life experience on the ships, as you just mentioned. And what would you think that the sequel, City Skylines 2, needs in terms of making ports more realistic in the game? Like you as the expert, basically.
Oh, you're hitting me with some good questions. I see Captain Obvious right now in the chat is saying waterfronts, mini DLC, yes. If Joy, if you could bring the camera over to my waterfront section that I did in round 2. I can explain kind of things I'd want City Skylines to that I think as a mariner I would want to see in a game because cities grow around the water in real life, and the waterfront mechanics are really just not splendid in City Skylines 1. They're good. You can work with them, but they're very rough. They're hard to do, and it's so you have so little control over how the assets kind of plop down, and so little variety, and the streets are kind of attached to these assets. So many of them. I would just want for City Skylines 2 to have a much more realistic, and not just realistic, but easy waterfront mechanic system. It would just make it so much easier to build a city organically because water is everything. Water is life, and you need to be at every city on Earth with few exceptions. All right, maybe Las Vegas is an exception, but most cities are attached to water in either a river or they're thinking about the water when they build, if it's the ocean or the rivers or anything like that. So I would just want some way to intuitively grow my city organically from the water, and I leave it to Colossal Order and the game developers to figure out a clever way to do that. I have no doubt that they will deliver.
Yeah, that would be really amazing, especially if it's something near and dear to your heart. That would be so cool to see you get even more crazy with these waterfronts because you build some amazing waterfronts, in my opinion. So that would be something that's really cool to have implemented in cities too. Actually,
it's such a struggle. So I hope they. I love building waterfronts. I just want it to be a little bit easier so everyone can enjoy it because I have this inside scoop on what a waterfront kind of should be. Not everyone has that kind of perspective, I guess.
Yeah, I get that. So I want to take a quick moment and get into some questions that were asked in the chat. First of all, we have a question by No Mercy, and I'll just throw that out there for the group. What was the most important or significant thing that you guys learned via this collab?
Oh, can I start with this one?
Please.
editing. I learned a lot about how to actually operate a YouTube channel from the rest of you guys. So much appreciated there. And yeah, editing.
That is super cool that you picked up another skill even from this collab. That's so amazing.
I think I'll go ahead and grab it. I think while communication is always something that I really strive to push, I think that communicating without the fear of, like, not disappointment, but for those who don't know, I moved cross country in the middle of this collab, and so communicating and being like, hey, I know I have the save, I'm sorry I'm running late, but also I'm really bad at procrastinating, so I had to learn that procrastination affects not only myself in a collab, but other people too. So I think definitely working with others, sticking to a deadline. When we have deadlines, they're there for a reason, you know?
Oh yeah, those help me out as well in every aspect of my life. Deadlines, I know exactly what you mean. All right. Another question from the chat, actually. The next one is by El Demetrius Plays. So when you build a town of your own, you feel attached to it because of all the work you put in, like you daily work on it, almost daily. And did any of you guys all feel just as attached to this while you have to wait so long for your next turn?
I mean, I can speak for me. Yeah, I love this whole entire city. And yes, I'm very attached to everything. So, yeah, and I think that was the struggle for us too, was like, you know, we had to wait 6, sometimes 7 weeks till we got the save back again to be able to play. So it was like, and then every week you got to see other people playing, and then it was like, I can't wait to get back in there. So, yeah, I think it was hard in that sense of being like patient to wait your turn.
I can understand that 100%. All right, one more question from the chat. What surprised you guys the most during the Skyline 6? Were there any like, oh wow moments in there?
That's an interesting question. Let me think about that. Were there any oh wow? Because I feel like every time I opened the map, it was like, oh wow, look what they did. But it's
fair. It's fair.
It's I don't know that I was ever like, oh wow, ay caramba, you know. So that's that level of oh wow. It just opening every time, like we've said before. We knew what we were gonna get because we share screenshots. We have our own little private chat, and we share, like, we call it who built that, and we'll write a little description of what we built and post some screenshots to give people the idea. But we're recording these videos weeks in advance of ever getting the save game again. So much happens in that time, and it's like, oh wow. Yeah. So much happens. It was so cool to be doing.
Yes, very relatable once again. All right, one more question from the chat by Mr. Driftman, and again for the entire group. What was the biggest difficulty in this series?
I think for me, the biggest difficulty was trying to understand people's purpose behind their builds and staying true to that. So, you know, I would go through every single time I got the save, and I would audit the fire and the police and schooling and making sure that everything was there. But I didn't want to fix an area too much. You know, if it was really low on fire service, I'd kind of go in there. But I didn't want to go through and just start deleting stuff to get it in there because I wanted to respect the area. So for me, the most difficult part was trying to understand other people's purpose. And also remembering what was built. The amount of interchanges of Xuca boas that I deleted is way too darn high.
Sabotage.
I know. There was even one point where I was halfway through a build and I was sharing my screen with Grattles because she was helping me. And she went, oh my god, wait, why did you delete that? Xuca spent an entire episode building that trumpet. And I went, crap, and had to reload the save.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think, once we were able to see each other's episodes, then we were like, oh, okay, that makes sense, or okay, I see it now. But because we worked ahead so that we were never behind, we had, like I said, we would share screenshots, we would say, this is what we build. But, until you get the perspective of the builder through the editing process, you really don't then fully see the vision. So I think while it's helpful to work ahead, it's also hard too, because you're like, okay, now I wish I would have done that because now I see this way. So that makes it challenging for sure, I think.
Oh yeah. Once
100%
again,
on that. 100%
I'll
on that.
have to agree as well.
Yeah, just seeing someone's editing process really gives you their mindset, because no matter how many times we share a screenshot and write a little blurb about it, unless the person is there watching you make the episode, which can take, for me, it takes like a week and a half to record something. It's a long process. I wouldn't put anyone through that just to sit with me and do it. So it's like so much of seeing how someone else does it when they put out their video is like, this is what is going on. All right, now I get it. And then you wish you had done something different.
Oh, yeah. Joy, I have another question for you, actually. You were second in the series. Did you feel the challenge of bringing the town into a place where it could grow into a city?
Yeah, so that's where I got to build our first park, which I was really excited. And then this whole area, Skyline Park here. So yeah, going second was nerve-wracking, because before Steven decided to join us, I was a huge fan of his. So I felt very excited and nervous to be following him. And like, I wanted to try to pick up every single one of his breadcrumbs to kind of see what he was going for. And I wanted to just kind of build upon the grid that he had started. So my whole frame of mind was just trying to honor what was there and expand so the next person would have money and that we would reach another milestone or two. So yeah, I think no matter what order we all went in, I think there was a lot of pressure, because like Xuca said, or maybe it was Raid earlier, said like everything affects everybody. So it's like you want to do a good job, because it's like it affects the whole city, and it's not just like you on your own map where you can, kind of mess around and experiment with things. It's like you're really, it is a little bit of pressure, but I think in a good way.
Still a good way. That's the most important part. Yeah. But yeah, I do understand. I do understand. Xuca, you
Yes.
are quite the talented vanilla builder, if I may say so.
Oh, there I am blushing again. I'm blushing again. Ay, caramba.
Especially with your 100% vanilla baby series. Where did your passion and the skills for that vanilla style come from?
So, okay, yeah, I'm a vanilla guy. I do a lot of vanilla. But I didn't start that way. I started with mods. Pretty much the day after I got the game, I downloaded 10,000 assets and 100 million mods, and I did that until my old laptop actually melted. So when I was waiting to upgrade my PC, I was like, oh, I'll just try some vanilla, and I started studying videos on YouTube about how to be really good at vanilla. And one of the real sources of edification, if you will, that taught me a lot of things that I didn't even know I could do in vanilla was watching Captain Obvious, who's here in the chat. He's been a guest builder in the series too, so it's like having a mentor in a way be involved in this is so cool. But watching his videos, I learned so much about vanilla building, and I've developed my own style and ways of doing things. But it comes down to that. And also I was invited into a vanilla group on Facebook called City Skylines Vanilla. If you're on Facebook, you can check it out. A little plug there. But the founder of it, this young lady named Isaura from the Dominican Republic, she was making vanilla cities, and she invited me in and showed me this whole new world of vanilla creativity that I didn't know existed. Because everything you see, there's so much modded content, and it's so photorealistic. You get this idea that vanilla can't be that good. And so it's been a challenge, and one I've gladly taken on over the last 2 years, is to try to make vanilla as good, if not better, than modded. at least the way it looks and works. So I'm not like a master of vanilla. I just really like it. There's a lot to say about vanilla gameplay.
He's also humble.
I was about to
no.
say that's very humble as well.
I'm not. No, I'm not humble. I'm Xuca Boa. Come on, I got that voice. Can't be humble with a voice like that. Xuca Boa.
It is pretty epic. So I do again 100% resonate with that. I like vanilla so much. But yeah, I also do enjoy some modded builds. But vanilla, if I have the choice, I like to go and do some vanilla stuff again from time to time.
Oh yeah.
So, Raid Kitty, your micro detailing with props is unparalleled. Have you always played the game that way?
My turn to blush. The straight up answer is absolutely not. The micro detailing for me really picked up actually in a City Planner Plays Discord. So I played City Skylines in a non-creator way for a little bit. And I had kind of joined City Planner's Discord as he was partway through the Bluffside Crossing series. And as he started Verde Beach, he put together a challenge group, where we were broken up into small segments and we were each given a part of I believe the US, Joy, was that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
To try and mimic. And we had a group of 5, and Joy and I were actually paired up together. And at the very beginning of the series, I didn't do micro detailing, and all of a sudden I decided to do this huge fairground. And it was when I did the fairground and realized I had so much space I had to fill because I way overestimated the amount of space it requires. That's when I really picked up the micro detailing, and I realized I really loved it. So it was kind of right at the beginning of my creator journey, and it's only increased since then because I feel like micro detailing just is so important to make each city unique.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, of course, to each their own, right? But to a certain extent, I also love to micro detail. Not as good as you, but I also like to do it occasionally. But I have to be in the mood for that. So yeah. All right, quickly before we move on, I just wanted to let everyone know if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. We will note them down, and we will get time to go through all of your questions, please. So don't hesitate if you have any questions. Jot it down and type it in the chat. Okay, I got another question for Joy, for you actually. There was one episode, it was called 5 Builds to Elevate Your City, and you built a zoo, and I really enjoyed that episode. The zoo had a very unique layout with individual enclosures and different elevations even. Can you tell us a little bit about why zoos are so important to you and why you designed that zoo in the way that you did?
So that actually is a really personal story that I shared in that episode that I'll share again here. So my brother, who's no longer here, was in a wheelchair his entire life, and he used to volunteer at the orangutan. I'm trying not to cry. At the orangutan exhibit, and there was an orangutan that was missing an arm. And I think the orangutan recognized that my brother was different, and they really bonded. And so it was just a very special connection they have. So, and so for me, I think, and I'm such an animal lover too, I think that there is a very special connection that we have with animals that are around us. But to the zoo part, I really felt it was important to take the zoo assets and just make additional enclosure space kind of behind the assets, so that as if the animals had more freedom to roam around. Because I think it's better to, versus building a zoo, but to build a habitat that you can go visit is kind of the approach I went with this build. But that's a great question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, and again, I really, really enjoyed the episode, and the build is really amazing. You have it on screen now, so that it looks really, really good, and a very, very heartwarming story for sure. Steven, I have another question for you. The first district that you built was called Kevens Landing. What inspired the name?
Oh well, first, Joy, thank you for sharing that story. At Kevin's Landing, so there's a few things. One, I like to take some names that seem like they might be somewhat set in, like you'd see on Google Maps or something like that. And lots of times cities kind of have the word landing in them. Not really cities, more like small towns or something like that. So I wanted to include that, and I needed a name. So my dog's name is Kevin, and I had just finished watching Game of Thrones. So Kevin's Landing kind of sounded like King's Landing from Game of Thrones. So I thought it was
Nice.
a fitting situation. And it's kind of catchy too. And
It is, actually, yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, Kevin appears somewhat often in my build, so I wanted to make sure that Pup Kevin was, front and center in this series. Cute little husky mix. He's a ham and a half. But, oh my gosh.
That is so cool. So you did name anything like in other series, Kevin the dog as well?
Yeah, I in one of my series, I have a big dog park. It's called Kevin's Adventure Dog Park. Adventure is the word we use to encourage him to get into the car because he doesn't like the car. So we say we're going on an adventure and we take him somewhere fun. So, yeah.
Very, very cool. Xuca, I have another question for you, actually.
Okay.
How?
All right, I'm ready.
It always feels like you guys, like, you feel like you've been caught doing something.
Well, I'm typing in the chat, so in a way I am a little caught off guard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, this hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
The hand in the cookie jar. That was
We got
exactly what I
David
was
Durrett
thinking.
there talking about Kevin's Landing for Steven's dog. It's
And before you mentioned King's Landing, El Demetrius was like, "Oh, King's Landing." Captain Obvious said, "Yeah, Game of Thrones."
Oh yeah.
you know.
Very
All right,
nice.
I'm ready for the question. I'm ready.
All right, it's an easy one, I promise.
Oh boy.
So, Xuca, how was building again after 5 months when you were away, and many DLC CCPs that have been dropped since your previous build? Was it like riding a bike? You don't unlearn it, basically, or were there some challenges?
Ooh, that's interesting. I'm gonna say that, like, coming back and just having all this new content was great. There was so much to work with. But because the moment I hit the ground and got to my computer and started building, I was doing my Skyline6 episode. That was the very first thing I did when I got home. I didn't have too much time to study the new content as in-depth as I might normally have, because I'll sit at the computer for like 5 days and just watch the simulation run and see how things work so that I can figure out the best way to manipulate it. But because I didn't do that, I went right into recording. I was just amazed at how many new goodies there were to play with. Like, there was so much stuff. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I forgot how to play. It was like riding a bike. I really did remember. I've got my meow method I talk about, and that's still in my brain in a lot of ways. But the thing that was most challenging was just figuring out all this new, like, just knowing that all this new stuff is there that I can now use to make the scene and the city more dynamic. So and then even after I recorded it, more DLC came out too. So it's like this barrage of great stuff coming from the game maker, giving us all these treats, right? It was so cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. That
was
pretty
that was an
epic.
easy question. I'll give you that.
It was easy, right? Chat says it was tricky, but I think it was easy.
Okay.
And speaking of chat and Xuca, while I have you, there are I see 2 more questions that are for you from the chat. So first of all, will you upload all the thumbnails in high res so everyone can find the Easter eggs? Asked by Arlas.
Oh, okay. I think we can make that happen in the Discord. If you're watching this and you're not in our Discord server, the City of Friends, there should be a link in the description, as well as connected to all of our channels. So if you find any of us, it's easy to navigate your way to the City of Friends Discord. We'll make that. I think we can make that happen. We all have our thumbnails, and There were some little goodies hidden, certainly in mine, but I think in all of them, they've got some little treats for everyone. If you want some high res thumbnails, maybe we can make it. Seems like a simple enough request for everyone to do. I don't know. Anyone else have something to say about that? I don't know why that's just a question for me. That's for all of us.
I think we can make that happen. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah, but everyone be sure to join the City of Friends Discord if you're not on there already. I have another question that is added for Xuca Boa, actually, and it was something that we already asked, but for you specifically, what was the most important or significant thing that you learned via this collab?
The most important thing I learned is that's such a large question, right? I've learned so much doing this just by working with all of these talented builders behind the scenes doing everything. The thing I learned is just like how people with very different visions of creativity can still make something happen together. It's so cool. I don't like. It's hard to say I learned that, but I didn't totally expect that to be a thing that could easily happen. Because City Skylines is a very creative game. Everything that you build is some representation of you as a creator, as a builder, as a person. And so to clash your stuff with other people's stuff sounds like it could be a recipe for I don't know, not getting together very well, but we made it happen, and we made it happen beautifully, and so I love that. It was just really nice.
Yeah, super nice. Very, very good, I think. One more question from chat. A bit of an odd question maybe, but also very interesting. So for the entire group, what do you guys think would be the most popular local food in the city?
Tacos.
If you can think of anything.
I think it starts with T and ends with Akos, maybe? I don't know.
I think tacos, ramen, because we have a huge university population.
Yes.
Ooh, lots of water. Sardines, Xuca.
Lots of sardines.
Sardines. Grottles in the chat is saying pizza.
Pizza, heck yeah.
Yep.
I think we have so many neighborhoods that you have to you'd go to the waterfront to get fish, and downtown to get some really good street tacos.
Yep. Everything. All the things.
Captain Obvious says dino droppings.
Dino droppings? Droppings?
No droppings whatsoever.
No dino droppings.
That's pretty cool, actually. Joy, I have a question for you.
Okay.
This isn't your first collab. Is there anything in particular that you learned this go around that you wish you knew at the start of the Skyline6 collaboration? And maybe as a follow-up question, do you have any tips for people looking to do their own multiplayer build? Not necessarily for YouTube, but also casually, maybe?
Yeah, I think going vanilla is the biggest tip, because passing around a save is tricky. And when you add mods or do 5 mods and make sure they're standards that when new content is coming, they're going to get updated. I think that's the biggest thing, is going vanilla. Just makes things so much easier. And if you're going to do a collab, is just have some we all sat down together and figured out, okay, what are our kind of quote unquote building rules? We said we'll always put the needs of the city first. So that was, Ray talked about going into the city each time, looking. We all did that. Look, see what is needed, see how the transit's doing. We put the city first, and then build something that either we really wanted to build or that the city needed. And so it was I think it's good if you have an idea of the mixture of that, what the priority is within the collab, whether you're doing it casually or on YouTube. And I think communication and organization is key. Definitely.
That makes a ton of sense to me. And just quickly to the first part of the question, was there anything that you prior learned that you wish you knew for the Skylines collab?
Oh, that I learned in this collab. I think, That's a good question. I don't know. I think I just learned that I think Ray, you were saying something like this earlier. Like just I think it is hard to decipher the purpose behind the builds. And I think like if you can find a way, like we really tried to do with like the screenshots and the description, but I think the thing that I learned is I think there needs to be even more communication, because then that would just lead to better collabing, right? And I think, so I think, you know, doing something more, because it's hard if you can't see the video, right? So figuring that out, I think, would be a really smart move for anyone trying to figure out how to do that. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. Very nice. A follow-up question about the process of collaborating in City Skylines for the group. How did you exchange the saves via file hoster uploading on Workshop but hidden? How did that work? Just so we get some of the technical aspects for the chat if someone wants to know.
So one of the things that we did is we actually had an entire Google Drive for the Skyline6. So that included our save files, all of our logos, anything that we needed to pass off at all throughout the series. And this continued to grow. You know, the trailers are up there, that kind of stuff. And then within our Discord as well, that's where we posted privately what we had built with screenshots, explanations, and that kind of stuff. So that was really the behind the scenes aspect. So no, we didn't upload to the Workshop. It was solely Google Drive. And I don't really think we had any problems with that. I think Google Drive worked out really well for the saves.
Yeah, that was my experience as well when I joined a collab in the past as well. And the Google Drive, it does work very smoothly. For me, like there was no issues, so I think that's possibly the best way to do it, and the easiest way, the simplest way, however you want to call it. All right. Wow. We have been live for almost an hour. It's almost been an hour.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And yeah, we're coming up. Time flies when you're having fun.
For sure.
And yeah.
Really quick, Flybox. Joy, can we take a look at the overall city statistics? We've had quite a few people in the chat asking to look at our city stats.
Sure. Yeah, what do you guys want to look at? I'm watching the chat right now. Let me know, and I will click away here.
Sorry, Fly.
It's all good. It's all good. Please, city statistics. If anybody wants to see anything specific, drop it in the chat, and Joy will show you.
Yeah.
So let's see. We have population.
Also,
cyclists.
A quick question from Arlas. Did you need to buy the extension for Google Drive? Like, is the file size, how is it with the file sizes? I think that's the question from Arlas.
I had to buy space. Yes.
I didn't, which
I did not.
No, because
I'm still wondering.
I'm hosting it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it depends on your role in the collab, Arlas.
Yeah,
I also, in my
owner
experience,
of the drive is going to need space, but you only have to have one person to have that, and yeah.
Each of the save files is about 33 megabytes. Early save files were 9.5 megabytes. So I mean, it'll add up pretty quickly. Our save file total is not mathing, so a couple gigs probably at minimum.
All right. If everyone's looking at those stats real quick, you might have noticed that there was this massive drop right at the end. Joy, if you go back to one of those like cyclists or tourists or something like that, and that's right around the time that I took the save back is when we started to notice that there was some kind of mod glitch that got a lot of people stuck on the edge of the map, and they couldn't get into the city, and so the people just got stuck and they stopped coming. So it was this weird. There's this weird dip, but everything recovers once we figured that out. This is why, like Joy was saying, So much easier to do this with the less mods you use, the much easier a collab is, because one little thing gets really out of whack if the save file gets passed and someone's not using the same mod.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
A little glitchy.
It happens.
Chris, I did not kill the bikers. They're fine. Did you see Joy's bike video? The one that she put out that had queso in it. The town I just made, and the bikes are going all around.
We recovered from
They're
that
back.
just fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all good.
Should we take a look at our guest builders builds real quick?
Yeah, and then I was also thinking show kind of some of the specialty areas like the no highway city, the airport, like you said, Captain Obvious. Yeah, there's definitely some nice specialty areas in there too.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions in the chat for Captain Obvious as we're looking at his area? Please let us know, because we can ask Cap while he's in the chat.
Oh, yeah. So while we're on the topic of guest builders, let's just give a quick but huge shout outs to the guest builders that were involved in the Skyline6 collaboration. Obviously, we have Captain Obvious already in the chat, Zityzilla, and Ak, and the direct links to these creators are in the description below. Definitely go check out their channels.
Yeah, and then we have the, so that was the financial district that Captain Obvious did. And then this ore industry is what Zityzilla did. Such a great creative build. I love the caverns here underneath the highway. I think it's so cool looking. Really a unique way to do an ore industry. And I know Zityzilla, he's used to playing with mods, so I know that, to go in vanilla was a little bit tricky for him, but it was good. It was good.
That looks really amazing.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have our Ac Original built this, which is just like this massive, awesome, windy road. I know the Drift Man would like that. Going down that
Drift Man would very much like to go up and down this road. I have no doubt about that.
But observation tower and everything, really nice, really nice. And then, of course, Valley did our lovely airport back here. If I can get over there.
Yeah, the airport had that really cool. Right. Yeah, the airport had the really cool like hotel area that he built too, that had like a built-in park with it. Yeah, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, all of this looks so good. Yeah, and then we have, gosh, there's so many areas in the city.
I know.
It's huge. It really is very big.
Yeah, very, very big. I love our island amusement park. So cool. And the monorail going around, especially now that we have the different size monorails. The different capacity monorails. I think that's, you know, it's nice to see that being used in that way. So cool. Flyvox, I'll let you take back. Sorry.
All right, looking very nice. I was giving you some space if you wanted to show off some more stuff.
The guest builder stuff, and yeah.
Really, really cool. All right, so I do have one final question, but before we do that, I would like to take a moment to once again shout out this project in general for being really well put together. Massive compliments to everyone involved: Joy, Xuca, Steven, Raid Kitty, and of course Grattles, Valley Gaming. The links to everyone is in the description below. Obviously, you're here on Joy Build City's channel already. We have shouted out the guest builders, but let's just do it again. Ac Original, Zityzilla, and we have Captain Obvious. Links in the description below. Please do go and check them out. Check everyone out that participated in this. Also, the map maker, the map is linked in the description below by Governor. Do check it out as well. Very, very nice stuff. One more note from me. We spoke about the City of Friends Discord, where you guys, the creators, always hang out and where everyone can ask you follow-up questions about this or simply chat with you in general, this is a welcoming place for everyone in my experience. I'm there, so I know firsthand. And the Discord invite is, of course, also linked in the description. Please, everyone, if you're not there yet, highly recommend. It is fun and it is totally worth it.
If I might
now-
add real quick, that don't forget to add yourself to that list of people to check out Flyvox. You're part of this
Me?
now. Oh yeah, you're part of this.
Thank you so much
Yes,
for having
go give
me.
our
That
host
was
some love and check
this-
out his channel, and he's does an awesome podcast if you haven't checked that out yet, and also really fun videos. So yes, we've got to plug our host.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate. I had tons of fun being here because, so we're about to wrap it up here. I got one more question, as I said, but yeah, this has been super fun. I think this is very unique what we did here, and yeah, it was amazing experience. All right, one more question, and I do believe this is the $1 million question. It was requested in the chat a bunch of times. Let me ask, will there be a season 2?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go. I have nothing to add to that. All right, again, to the Skyline6 crew, thank you so much for having me. It was a blast being the host tonight. Thank you. And everyone out there, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate you keeping us company for this live stream. Have a great rest of your day. This concludes the Skyline6 collaboration. Please, everyone out there, stay safe and bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Peace.
Have a good one.
Adios.
Oh. Okay.
It is out. It is done.
It's out.
It's done.
Oh
All
my
right.
God, this was
Guys,
amazing.
First
done.
off, y'all kept me way too